Hi YouTube, welcome to another video. If you're here for a free tutorial, then simply click the link in the description. I'm here today to talk about pike flexibility. So pike flexibility is very important whether you're doing calisthenics or weightlifting or free running or whatever it is in life. You simply need good pike flexibility. So if you can't touch your toes with straight legs, then I would say you have quite a lot of work to do. But don't be discouraged. There is a process, there is a way. It's not that difficult, but it just requires for you to actually put in the time and consistency. So you're gonna do one very simple routine 1 to 2 times per week. I would say start 1 time a week and then slowly try to progress. It's very important not to go too hard. You're not gonna get it faster, because after this routine, the next day your body should be actually a little bit sore. So it's not like, this is not like passive stretching, completely relaxed. You actually have to do some work. So the next day you should be pretty sore, and it's important to give your body enough time to rest to actually make progress, because otherwise if you're very sore and you go and do the routine, your body will simply resist of getting into that new range and you will not get the same benefits. The most commonly question out there is, how long will it take for me to improve my mobility? Well, the answer is about 6 weeks to actually see some progress. So if you're only doing the stuff for 3 weeks, the routines, and then you're wondering, okay, why am I not making progress? Well, simply because you need to wait. You know, this is not as simple as strength where you just go and train and your max pull-ups was 6, and then 2 weeks later your max pull-ups is 12, and then it's a little bit more. So progressing in flexibility is actually a little bit slower and steadier. So it's not like it's a big rise on top and then slowly, and then again a big rise. But it's actually kind of a slow process. But don't let that discourage you. If you need that flexibility, then it's worth doing it. It's not that tormenting. Maybe in the beginning, when you don't know exactly how to relax your body and which muscles to activate and which muscles to stretch, it's a little bit more difficult. But believe me, with the right routine and with the proper exercises, you can actually get more mobile, and you can see the progress. But the main thing is the progress in flexibility. The first thing is not, oh, now I can reach my toes, and then the next week I can go way deeper in that, and then the next week way deeper. It's not like that. The first progress in flexibility is the time you need to get into that position. So that's very important, and people don't usually even see that. So if in the beginning it took you about 5 minutes of actual stretching and working to actually reach the floor with your fingers, then in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it may take you 2 minutes, or then it may take you 1 minute. And then when you can get it in like 20-30 seconds, that's real progress, you know. And it's not a deeper position, it takes you less time to get into that position. That is being flexible. So that's what actually being flexible means. Not that you need like 30-minute warm-up to get where you want to get. When you want it, it's there. So we do need to put in some work, but trust me, there is a process, and I'm gonna show you the routine right now, and simply stick to it 1 to 2 times a week, and I'm sure your pike flexibility will improve in no time. So let's start with the routine. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch our calves, because tightness in the hamstrings is often related to tightness in the calves. So the first thing is we're gonna do a standing calf stretch. So we basically go on one leg and we actively try to contract the quads and actively try to flex the ankle in order to go deeper in the position. So we're not just standing on one leg and thinking about I don't know what, we're actually actively working and really try to flex the ankle and really try to go deeper into the stretch. We're gonna stay in this stretch for 90 seconds and then we're gonna switch legs. After that, we're gonna simply put our ankle inwards and we're gonna stay there for 90 seconds and then repeat that on the other leg. And then we're gonna put our ankle outwards and then stay there for 90 seconds also on both legs. After we stretched our calves, now it's time to explore the pike position. So we're gonna use 2 exercises. One is for strengthening and the other is for actual stretching. It's very important to do both, because if you're simply stretching, then you will never be able to actively go into that range. So right now we'll use isometric contraction for strengthening. It works like a charm, it's very efficient. So this way we'll activate the muscles that we need in order to go into that range. So a lot of the time the problem is not, oh, I can't go there. It's just that you don't know which muscles to activate to go there. So that's why we use isometric contraction. Let's say, for example, my pike is I can just go up to here and boom. So right now I'm gonna perform isometric contraction. So I'm actually gonna try to push this brick down while maintaining straight legs. So the whole time, make sure to have tight quads. Make sure your head is not like this. Put it here and really try to press down as much as you can. That way you will activate the core and you will activate the quads, and you will learn which muscles to activate to go deeper into the pike. So you can do this using a brick. You can do it on the floor like this. You can do it with your palms on the floor. And here we're gonna perform three reps of 10 seconds. So we stand up here, press for 10 seconds as much as you can. Make sure to breathe. Then relax, repeat again, boom, relax, and then repeat again. So we're gonna do like 3 reps of 10 seconds. Then we're gonna have 1 minute break, and then we'll move on to Jefferson Crow. For the Jefferson Crow, we're gonna use a light weight. I usually use a 5 or 10 kilogram weight. It's very important not to use more than that, because especially in the beginning, because if you're going into that new range with 20-30 kilograms dragging you down, you're not doing shit. It's just the weight dragging you down, and then you're pulling from that range. It's just not a good idea, and that's begging for injury. So that's why, especially in the beginning, we're using less weight, so 5 to 10 kilograms, and really try to actively go there. So the weight is there just to educate us a little bit where we need to go. So this is like a 5 kilogram bar. I'm gonna do this a little bit elevated. So from here, we actually try to curl down our spine like this, and then try to go deeper. Let the weight pull us a little bit. Make sure your head is not here. Make sure it's here. Really try to contract the quad. Exhale. You can't go any deeper. Then pull up. It's very important to curl. So like this. This is not deadlift. So we're actually curling our spine all the way from the top to down. Here, try to exhale. Go a little bit deeper and back up. If you're wondering how many reps we're gonna perform, here we usually do about 5 to 10 reps with a 10 to 20 second break on the last rep. So let's say you're just starting your training, I would suggest 5 reps is more than enough, and the last rep, hold it for about 10 to 20 seconds. So how should the reps look like? It's very simple. From here, curl down, exhale. Okay, this is as deep as I can go right now. I'll try to go a little bit deeper. Okay, and then back up. So again, down. I can go up to here, try to go a little bit deeper, and then back up. And on the last rep, we just simply go down and wait here. This is the most difficult part. While we are here, we're actively working, tighten the quads, really try to go deeper, actively work. Stay here for about 10-15 seconds, and also pull out of that range. Boom. So that's about it. Like I said, 1 exercise for strengthening and the other exercise for stretching. We're gonna do 3 supersets. So in the beginning, very important not to do too much, because you're just gonna be very sore. I would start with 3 sets and then slowly progress towards 5 sets, and that is more than enough. So start with 3 sets of isometric contraction, 3 reps of 10 seconds, and then move on to Jefferson Crow. Do about 5 to 8 reps with a 10 to 20 second pause on the last rep. So that's about it, guys. So this routine you will perform 1 to 3 times per week. It's very important not to go too hard at it, doing right away 4 times per week, and then you're sore the whole week, and then the next week, I don't really feel like it. It's very important here to be consistent and patient. And I'm not talking about being consistent the next week. I'm talking about being consistent over a period of months and actually years. But believe me, guys, it's worth it. This is like the crucial thing. This is the most important thing, taking care of your mobility. So that's why doing this simple 20-minute routine a couple of times a week, I don't think it's too difficult. But besides that, you actually have to do a little bit more if you really want to improve. So if you want to improve your flexibility, you actually have to do it on a daily basis. And I don't mean do this routine on a daily basis. I actually mean revisiting the position that you want to achieve daily. So that's the most important thing. I actually had a student, Mare, and when he started, he could barely touch his toes with straight legs. You could see that it was very uncomfortable for him. He was shaking. He could do it for a couple of seconds and then he went out. And I told him, man, you're very flexible in every aspect except your pike flexibility is shit. And I told him simply every day when I ask you, can you touch your toes? You have to be able to touch your toes. And then he was like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this. I think in a month or 2 months, he was actually able to put his palms flat on the floor and stay there. And even I was impressed, and it was as simple as touching the floor every single day. We're also doing the same with my brother David. As many of you know, he had a back surgery. He had a herniated disc, so he was basically chained on the bed for a year. And right now he's recovering, trying to get that pike flexibility back. It was bad enough before, but right now it's also really a struggle for him to get it back, because as soon as he does something wrong, his back immediately, he starts feeling it. And so we really have to be delicate with his pike flexibility training, but he's making great progress simply by daily revisiting that position. So he can't touch his toes, but we actually measure his progress. Right now he can like touch that brick, so it's like this height. And he's just simply using that brick to measure his progress. And all throughout the day, I always like telling him, can you touch that brick? And if he can't, he always goes there and he simply does a quick routine to be able to touch that brick. And he does that across the day, multiple times a day. And that's really, I feel like it's the best and the safest way for him to progress with his pike flexibility. So he does a simple routine once a week, but doing this daily, I feel like it is the best thing to do. So it's very important to be consistent. Make sure really, guys, to be consistent. Just simply put a table somewhere, have mobility written down, or like say pike flexibility routine, and simply check. And 2 to 3 times a week actually do that routine, and also daily make sure to touch the floor. So it's a very simple principle, but it works. And there's no shortcuts here. 5-minute flexibility routine and then you're perfectly flexible. It doesn't exist. You actually have to put in the time, you actually have to put in the work, you need to have a schedule, and you actually need to stick to it, and you need to do your thing if you want to improve. So that's about it for this video. Make sure to be consistent and make sure to be patient. It's very important to stick to your schedule, because otherwise, if you're not consistent with your training, then that's the biggest loose end in your training. It's not, sometimes people think, oh, I'm not pushing myself hard enough. No, man, it's just your consistency that's bad. Because most of the people, the most common mistake is not training for 2 weeks, and then you go into the gym and you want to replace those 2 weeks of rest by really killing yourself in that gym, you know, really pushing hard. And you know what you get? You get an injury. And you get one training in 2 weeks, while if you had a proper schedule, you would do 6, 8 trainings in those 2 weeks. It's a common mistake that people think, oh, when I get in the gym, I need to kill myself, I need to turn myself into a big pile of shit, and then I can have 3-4 days rest. That's so far from the truth. You just need to consistently put in quality effort, doing proper form, not killing yourself, simply do it and stick to the schedule. So that's the most important thing. So that's why I actually decided to give you guys another gift. I'm really on a mission to create the most valuable content for you, for calisthenics community, and for everybody who wants to learn for free. And yes, I have another free scheduling tutorial for you guys. So if you want to become a master of calisthenics, if you want to transform your body, then you need a proper schedule. Believe me, nothing is done randomly. I don't just wake up and train whatever. I actually have a schedule, and it's very important to do so if you want to make consistent progress, and if you want to measure your progress also. So it's very important that you actually have a schedule. So simply click the link in the description. It's free. You have no excuses now. Click the link and get your free training schedule. Thank you guys. Peace.